Welcome everyone. Thank you for again watching my channel. And in today's episode, I want to talk about something that many of us really struggle with. And it's hard to admit it at times, but I think it's important that the battle that feels impossible at times is not something that you fight alone. And it's the battle with lust. This video isn't about guilt or shame, but it's about understanding the struggles and giving you 4 keys that I've found helpful for myself to really battle this situation and issue. I will make it short, so let's just jump right into it. First is acceptance, which might sound very simple, but I found it so powerful because lust is often bring through shame, that we feel guilty of some sort, that like, what are we doing? We feel very shameful, which can make you feel isolated or embarrassed. But I found that accepting it, that we're struggling with such a thing, isn't humiliating, but it's more freeing, because many of us really do struggle with this. And I think that's why it's so important not to feel isolated. Excuse me. But I think it's more important to identify what shame means. And what I found is a painful feeling of humiliation of or distress caused by the consciousness. Apology, jeez. So I believe we need to really find out what definition of shame is. And so what I found is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. And I'd like to emphasize that millions of us and other people struggle and deal with the same problem, which is lust. So accepting is the first step to really breaking the chains and getting through the first phase. So what I want you today is to take a moment and say, this is my struggle, this is what I'm battling with. It's not humiliating, it's just what I'm in. And this will bring me to the step number 2, identifying triggers and raising awareness. So let's talk about triggers, because we live in a world that is constant attention, whether it's your social media, whether it's when you're working at the gym or at work, or the conversation you have in, there's always a trigger that brings this up. As I mentioned, media, social platforms, and ads thrive on our attention. So that's why your brain is literally like almost like Matrix, connected to the brainwashing and often used to really captivate our attention and to really spend as much time on these. It's hard to say what I would call it now, but you get the point. So even for me, like when I, scrolling on Instagram and I see something that triggers me, it's really hard nowadays to find and just turn it off and say like, oh, turn it off. But because you might like using social media for some other aspects. So I think really raising the awareness and slowly become more cautious of what you're watching and where the triggers come from is a good step towards understanding where the identification comes from. So I want to encourage you to reflect on your triggers, whether it's a specific app, moments, environments, conversations, words that trigger you. It's definitely a good time to start either writing it down in your phone or whenever you feel this is the right outlet for you. So in ways, I would recommend you to start a journal or a list to track down when and where temptation strikes. This awareness is the first step of you taking the control. Which leads me step 3, and that is replace your temptations. So when you are hit with the temptation, it's not enough just to fight it and say like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. But you have to replace it with something more, something better, something stronger, something that makes you and pushes you to feel like you're stronger, better, you're moving forward, you're progressing. So when triggers hit, I want you to step away, go to another room, or turn off your phone, social media, or pause, or just breathe, sit down, whatever it is that you find that it can help you. I would also recommend you to emphasize staying with those feelings and really going down to the roots of what's happening. Because without that, you will never recognize what it is, and they just won't simply fade away. Or you can also write a journal. For many times, I found what's very helpful is that you are triggered by these temptations. You can sit down, you can meditate, or for me, I like to go to the gym. I take care of a dog. I like cooking. I enjoy cleaning. I having my space clean. I also work really hard. I enjoy what I do for work so far. Um, I like to be active. I like reading. I like educating myself. So I try to every time use this when something like that triggers. I try to go to these outlets because those really make me feel like I'm progressing. At least I'm making a step forward. And especially if you're able to resist your temptations and you choose the healthier version of the what you're doing, it makes you grow stronger. It makes you feel more cautious. It makes you more aware of what's going on. And I think that's really the key. So definitely take time to understand your temptations. And this leads me to the final and last step that I found very, very much the key of all. And that is give it a time. Finally, I want you to remember this because overcoming lust isn't an easy fix, it's a journey. So you really want to take time and really own up to this, that this is your own journey. This is no one else's, no comparison. This is you struggling with your own situation. So progress might look very different for you and someone else. Someone might improve quicker, someone might improve slower, and it might take a longer time, but that's still okay. I want you to celebrate also the small victories. Those are very much essential. Whatever it is, you're working really hard, you resist your temptations, and you also maybe someone who likes to treat themselves more often, right? So give yourself on the weekend, like after a really hard working week, I don't know, go get a dessert with some nice coffee, read a nice book, whatever that helps you, or go for a nice walk, or buy yourself a new shirt or something that feels like I deserve it. I've worked really hard. This is in my budget. This is what I can do. I will reward myself. Another thing is to really avoid comparisons. Your progress is very much unique and your own. So I don't want you to compare yourself to someone else on the internet or someone, your friend. It doesn't matter. Your journey is very much different. And for some people, it might be easier, like I said. But each step that you make towards your progress and towards overcoming lust, you are progressing towards being a winner. So I want to encourage you, if you're already on the path, or you're already starting, or you're already looking where to start, or you're just curious and you're not there yet, I would like you to take a pause and really applaud yourself that you are already seeking the solutions for this, because you're not alone in this. So many of us struggle with this. You go back to it, you might fail on your journey and come back to the journey again. And that is okay. Like I said, each path of ours is different. So I want you to keep moving forward because you are stronger than you think. So in kind of retrospective and looking back, what we've covered is, first step is acceptance, understanding and accepting that you are struggling with this. Second is identifying the triggers and raising your awareness to really see when the temptation starts, what is causing it. The step number 3 is replace those temptations with something that makes you feel like you're progressing and you overcoming your struggle. And the most important thing, step number 4, give it time. It might take a while, it might take a year, it might take 2, it might take 2 weeks, I don't know. But give yourself time and don't beat yourself up. You're stronger than you think. So remember this, with persistence and faith, you can overcome this. And I want to encourage you to share this experience or reflections with your friends if this video was helpful, and if you find that you're already struggling with this and you're finding for another solution and steps and understanding what's going on, I'm more than glad that you made it to the end of the video, because this so far was the hardest topic I prepared for, because it's relevant. We struggle with it, not just me but so many of us, and I really hope this video has been helpful in some ways. So I would be very happy if you share your experience in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, it helps. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Ciao.